What's up, you calm, collected enigma? Yeah, you. The one everyone keeps staring at like you're breaking emotional laws nobody even wrote down. The one they predicted would be spiraling by now, unraveling dramatically, hurling furniture, pacing floors, posting cryptic paragraphs, or calling people you shouldn't be calling. They created entire expectations around your collapse, rehearsed reactions for when you snapped, prepared their "I always knew they'd lose it" speeches. And now look at them, confused, twitchy, scanning your face for clues like you're some puzzle that refuses to reveal its edges. Because you didn't fall apart, you didn't fold, you didn't crack, you didn't even flinch. Instead, you're walking around with some disturbingly steady energy that they can't interpret. Your unbothered nature is not just unsettling them, it's dismantling their confidence, piece by piece. Because here's the part that's messing with their heads. It wasn't supposed to be this way. You were supposed to be visibly affected. You were supposed to react loudly. You were supposed to give them the satisfaction of knowing their chaos reached you. But you didn't. You stayed composed. You stayed grounded. You stayed present in a way that made it painfully obvious that whatever they threw at you, emotionally, socially, mentally, you processed it, reorganized yourself, and simply kept moving. And people don't know how to handle someone who doesn't tremble when they expect trembling. They don't know what to do with a person who refuses to participate in theatrics that used to work on everyone else. Let's clear something up before we go deeper. People didn't distance themselves because you were too much. They distanced themselves because they couldn't handle your control. They couldn't handle the way you walked through pressure without losing your center. They couldn't handle how your mind stayed intact, even when your environment didn't. They couldn't handle the level of internal mastery you've been forced to build over years of being misunderstood, blamed, targeted, underestimated, or made to feel responsible for other people's emotional mess. They weren't avoiding your chaos. They were avoiding your clarity. Read that again. Your clarity disrupted them. Your steadiness exposed them. Your lack of reaction revealed how consistently they overreacted. You're sitting here wondering if you should have been more emotional, more expressive, more reactive. But the truth is, your restraint was never a weakness. It was diagnostic. It revealed every person who needed your instability to validate their own. It showed you exactly who relied on your panic to distract from their own lack of discipline. Your calm wasn't the problem. Your calm was the mirror. Let's talk about you for a second. Not the version of you they misinterpreted. Not the version of you they exaggerated. The real you. The you who learned emotional regulation in environments where other people learned avoidance. The you who stayed grounded even when no one gave you ground to stand on. The you who processed everything internally because you didn't want to throw your feelings at people who weren't equipped to hold them. The you who kept showing up with gentleness, clarity, consistency, traits people claim they want, but collapse around when they finally meet them. You poured peace into people who had no capacity to receive it. You gave patience to people who confused it with permission. You brought understanding into spaces where confusion was normalized. And when those people couldn't accept the steadiness you offered, they acted like you were the one who changed. They acted like your calmness made you detached. They acted like your self-control meant you didn't care. But that wasn't the truth. The truth was, they couldn't handle someone who didn't need chaos to feel important. Now here's where it gets interesting. These same people, the ones who thought they had you figured out, are now sitting alone, scrolling back through old messages, zooming in on your photos, replaying conversations in their heads, trying to figure out how they got it wrong. They monitor your story views like it's some kind of emotional surveillance. They look for signs you're affected. They hunt for cracks in your composure. They search for the meltdown they predicted. And every day that passes without one, their confusion turns into quiet panic. Your calm is not just stability to them. It's evidence. Evidence that you're not who they assumed. Evidence that their impact wasn't as deep as they thought. Evidence that their attempts to destabilize you didn't succeed. Evidence that you're operating on a level they never imagined. And trust me, they feel every inch of that realization. They feel it when they check your profile at 2 a.m. They feel it when they see you walking around looking rested, collected, disciplined. They feel it when they hear your name in conversations they didn't expect. They feel it when their current relationships don't offer the emotional insight you gave effortlessly. They feel it when your absence becomes louder than your presence ever was. They feel it because losing access to someone with your emotional intelligence hits differently. It's not just losing a person, it's losing equilibrium. But here's the part you need to understand. This isn't about them. This is about the evolution you stepped into without even announcing it. You're not unbothered because you detached. You're unbothered because you finally understand your worth. You finally understand your energy. You finally understand your emotional value. And you finally understand that not every person deserves access to your reactions, your mind, your time, or your inner world. Some people used your kindness as a cushion. Some people used your patience as a loophole. Some people used your softness as a landing pad for their unresolved issues. And when you stopped offering unlimited emotional credit, they called you distant. But you weren't distant. You were done. You were done carrying emotional loads that weren't yours. You were done engaging in arguments designed to drain you. You were done explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You were done negotiating your worth with people who couldn't recognize value unless it screamed at them. You were done patching cracks in people who blamed you for the pressure. Your calm is the byproduct of emotional detox. Your calm is the evidence of boundaries finally applied. Your calm is the result of understanding your own thresholds. Your calm is the reward you earned after years of fighting battles you didn't start. And because people aren't used to you choosing yourself, your calm is being interpreted as danger. They're not scared of losing you. They're scared of realizing they already did. They're not confused about your composure. They're confused about their lack of it. They're not bothered by your peace. They're bothered by the fact that your peace exposes the chaos they're still addicted to. You know what really unsettles them? It's not that you're calm. It's that you're calm with history. It's that you're calm with memories that should have broken you. It's that you're calm after experiences that should have turned you bitter. It's that you're calm in situations that would have made the average person collapse. It's that you're calm in a way that implies you've been trained for this level of pressure. And maybe you have. Maybe your past didn't break you. It prepared you. Maybe every moment you thought you were drowning, you were actually learning to breathe differently. Maybe every ending you took personally was actually redirecting you toward emotional mastery. Maybe every person who misunderstood your calm was really just showing you who wasn't meant to stay long-term. Let's bring this closer to home. Think about all the things that once triggered you. Think about all the times you reacted fast. Think about all the energy you used to spend trying to control outcomes. Now look at you, unmoved, self-contained, intentional, grounded. You didn't get here effortlessly. You got here through emotional discipline, through experience, through reflection, through choosing not to repeat patterns, through outgrowing old versions of yourself that once begged for clarity, for closure, for reassurance that never came. You didn't become calm overnight. You became calm by surviving things that would have broken anyone else. You became calm because you had no other choice. You became calm because reacting didn't save you. Thinking did. And now your entire energy has changed. Now your presence feels different. Now people feel something around you they can't name. Now your restraint looks like strength. Now your lack of reaction looks like wisdom. Now your peace looks like power. And that's exactly when the confusion begins. Because people who once saw you as predictable can't classify you anymore. They used to know what triggered you, what upset you, what made you speak, what made you chase, what made you react. They memorized the old blueprint of you like it was a script written for their convenience. But now that script is dead. Those buttons don't work. Those lines don't hit. Those emotional traps have no effect on the person you've become. They keep pulling the same strings, and nothing moves. They keep testing for fractures and find none. They keep poking at your energy, expecting an old reaction, and instead hitting an upgraded consciousness that doesn't even register their attempts as pressure. People fear what they cannot predict. People resent what they cannot control. People attack what they cannot understand. People obsess over what they cannot influence. And you, right now, embody all four. Your calm is not silence. It's data-driven. It's intentional. It's layered with understanding you didn't have years ago. And the moment you stopped allowing access to your emotional responses, you became something that terrifies insecure people. A presence they cannot manipulate. A force they cannot sway. A mind they cannot penetrate. A heart they cannot destabilize. That's why they stare at you with that twitch of confusion in their expression. That's why they talk about you in hushed tones. That's why they watch you more than they talk to you. People analyze what they fear losing control over. But here's the deeper truth people won't say out loud. Your calm feels like a threat to their identity, because some people only feel secure when others are visibly struggling. Some feel important when they're needed in emotional emergencies. Some define their worth by how much they can provoke. Some feel in control when they can predict the reactions of those around them. And when you rise into your calm, all those illusions collapse simultaneously. They lose the version of you they relied on. Your chaos, your reactivity, your panic, your need for explanation. They lose the narrative where they were the stable one and you were the emotional one. They lose delusions they built around you, so they didn't have to confront their own instability. Your calm invalidates their excuses. Your calm reveals their emotional immaturity. Your calm exposes their unprocessed baggage. Your calm makes their chaos look intentional. And nobody enjoys being confronted by their own reflection, especially when it comes in the form of someone who used to give them emotional access without hesitation. Let's break this even further. People didn't expect you to reach this level because they never imagined you would outgrow the environments that shaped you. They thought your past equaled your future. They thought your old emotional patterns were permanent. They thought your endurance meant you were willing to tolerate dysfunction forever. They thought your patience meant you lacked standards. But patience is not lack of standards. Patience is gathering evidence. And once you had enough, you didn't argue. You didn't plead. You didn't fight. You didn't announce a single thing. You simply shifted. And nothing unsettles people more than a shift they didn't authorize. Because when you finally chose yourself, everyone who benefited from your self-neglect felt the ground shake beneath them. They lost the comfort of your compliance. They lost the privilege of your emotional labor. They lost the unearned access to your mind. And instead of taking accountability, instead of asking themselves why you changed, they started panicking. Not because you left, but because you didn't break when you did. People expect pain to leave a mark they can exploit. They expect heartbreak to make you crawl. They expect betrayal to make you bitter. They expect abandonment to make you insecure. They expect disrespect to make you desperate. And when you refuse to take the emotional shape they prepared for you, they malfunction. That malfunction shows up in the way they start speaking differently about you. The way they act distant but monitor you heavily. The way they pretend not to care but pay attention to every detail. The way they gossip to make your calm look fake. Because the idea of your genuine peace threatens their entire worldview. You've experienced it. The sudden shift in tone when they speak to you. The careful wording, the probing questions, the micro pauses when you don't react. The subtle frustration when your energy doesn't mirror the chaos they bring. The awkward compliments disguised as confusion. You seem so different now. In a good way, I think. They don't have language for your evolution. They only have symptoms of their discomfort. Here's the part people won't admit. Your calm makes them confront how loudly they live inside themselves. They realize they've been overreacting to everything. They realize they've been impulsive for no reason. They realize they've been projecting unresolved issues onto stable people. They realize they've been confusing drama with connection. They realize they've been normalizing emotional turbulence as personality. But the most painful realization, they start seeing how chaotic they appear in the presence of someone who doesn't respond to chaos. Because your calm doesn't hide their instability, it illuminates it. When insecure people stand next to grounded people, the contrast is violent. They feel exposed. They feel examined. They feel inferior. They feel out of place. They feel judged without you saying a word. They feel small because your calm activates something in them they've been avoiding. The truth about their own lack of discipline. And for some of them, that truth is unbearable. That's why they'll accuse you of being cold. That's why they'll say, "You've changed." That's why they'll insist something is wrong with you. That's why they'll try to provoke a reaction, any reaction, because emotional maturity looks like distance to the emotionally immature. You didn't become distant. You became selective. You didn't become quiet. You became intentional. You didn't become detached. You became observant. And the people who once benefited from your emotional availability are grieving the loss of their access, not the loss of you. Let's talk about how these reactions show up in real time. Some people become overly nice, tiptoeing around you like they're afraid of waking a sleeping giant. They assume your calm means you're hiding rage. They assume your lack of reaction is the quiet before destruction. They assume your peace is temporary. They assume you're holding something back that will hit them.